This talk comes from observation, not from theory. For me, the question of purpose is not theoretical. It's very, very personal. I have been surrounded the last 10 years or so by many people who feel that their best years are behind them. People that don't have a sense of how can I contribute. And this is, of course, the work that I've done, working alongside many women, many young people who are discovering their voice, communities that are listening to what they have learned. Doing that work, I have learned that there is a pattern. Somehow, in that pattern, there are people who are living a passionate life, a life without purpose. And for me, that has been a very telling thing. I have realized that working alongside them, we have a way of helping them figure out what's going on. So in that field, I have realized that the fingerprint of purpose is when people find where their passion is. Let me tell you what changed in my life. I didn't find a passion. No. It was more like I listened to the clues that purpose was leaving. Purpose was leaving little silent clues for me. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I knew what my passion was. Growing up, I had no idea. If you asked me years ago what my passion was, I would have probably given you a very respectable answer. One that looked good on paper, but yet felt empty to me. I have gone out and worked with communities where purpose is not a luxury. It's actually a lifeline. I was mentoring women, and walking alongside them, I realized that many of them were struggling to find their voice, struggling to be seen, struggling to put food on the table for their children, struggling to help provide basic medical and dental needs. Working with those women and being alongside them, I then realized my own passion. My passion came from empowering women to dream, to rise, and to act. That's where I found it, in listening to myself. I am Nory Oxenberg. I am the founder and president of TEDxCalle Foundation. We help small non-for-profits create impact and sustainability. Yeah. I've done some of the work that's required in this field, fundraised, served organizations, sat on boards, but that's not where I learned what needed to happen to reach purpose was in listening and helping the women that were struggling so that together we could find what our passion is. I have found that the people that have figured it out, quote unquote, it is the people that learned to listen to themselves, to listen and feel, what is it that energizes me? What is it that makes me want to get up in the morning and do something great? Having lived between cultures also taught me that there are a lot of differences. In one culture, and you will relate to this, we are asked, and what do you want to be? Mostly, right? In another culture, and here, the question becomes more, how can I be of service? It's not what you want to be, it's how you can be of service. Aquí aprendí que la pasión no se busca, se siente, se escucha. Passion is not searched for, it is felt, it is listened to. Let me tell you a story about a woman I met. We decided to meet with this particular woman to help her figure some things out. When she first came in, she would not even look at me in the eye. She sat with her arms tightly folded. She felt that she had nothing to offer, no education, no confidence, nothing that she really knew how to do. The amazing thing is that at that very same time, volunteers, those same people that I told you that had joined me, who had no idea that they had something to offer and that thought that their best years were behind them, those same people showed up. And together, we listened to this woman. And together, we encouraged her. All of a sudden, she came up with something that she could do to better her life. And what was that? She decided that she was going to make homemade, delicious food, the kind that she had been making for her family for years. Nothing different, just homemade, delicious food. A long time passed, a few months, and one day she came back and she told me something I will never forget. She said, "Sabes, mis hijos me miran diferente. My children look at me differently." Now, I want you to understand this. This did not happen because she was making much more money. Yes, we have produced over 250 incredible women entrepreneurs, and they're doing great, okay? But this happened because she showed up differently. And those same volunteers, the ones that thought that they had nothing to offer and that their best years were behind them, they also showed up differently. Why? Because now both of them were doing something that mattered to other people. Somewhere in the world right now, someone is living their dream life. Many of you here, I know I am, but somewhere along the lines, quietly, some question was stirring up inside of them, okay? They were asking themselves a question that I asked myself many times. Really? Is this it? Is that all there is? There's nothing else? One day turns into the other. They blur together. When we're feeling like that and we're feeling lost, it's not because we're having a crisis of success. No, we know we made it, right? We're having a crisis of purpose, And this is happening everywhere. It's happening to expats. Here particularly, I live in a city with many, many retirees. It's happening to empty nesters. It's happening to retirees. It's happening to abuelitos and abuelitas. They have a sense of loss. But here's the thing, purpose doesn't disappear because life got easier. It disappeared when we stopped being needed by someone. Okay, this reminds me of a lot of people that I know. They feel that they have nothing to do. We live in a culture that tells us that passion is something that we're going to find inside, as if it was a buried treasure. I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. You're not going to find it. You're searching, but you're going to find your passion, or it's going to come to you when you start listening to yourself. When something wakes up in you that makes you energized for the whole day, something that you can't wait to get to. Okay, and that happens often. We earned our freedom because of everything that we did that was so great in our lives. But in doing that, we lost our relevance. Have you ever sat to think about that for a moment? How is it that we're relevant today in what we're doing, right? No one is waiting for us. This kind of invisibility shows up very silently. This is really incredible. It doesn't announce itself like, hey, you're not relevant anymore. No. It shows up very, very quietly. How does it look? It looks like restlessness. It looks like boredom. Many times you're bored. And it looks like also when that little question is rising every now and then, where you are asking yourself, is this all there is? It isn't laziness. Believe me, it is not laziness. It is not ingratitude. I know many people who are very grateful, but yet have not found their passion, right? I came here to tell you today that this is grief. And I know this is a strong word. This is grief of the version of you that once mattered, right? This is grief that you feel every single day until you can do something about it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time that you felt truly alive? Truly alive. Like, wow, I can't wait, right? I'm going to guarantee you a couple of things. I guarantee you it was not when you were on a beach sipping a margarita. I guarantee you that it was not when you were checking something off a bucket list. Okay, whoop-de-doo. We did that, got the shirt, got the poster. I guarantee you that it was when you felt that you were contributing, when you were needed, when something that you have was needed by someone else, when you were connecting. I guarantee you that. Volunteers, I have news for you. Volunteers are less likely to die an early death. Some studies, this is real, some studies show that volunteering versus people that don't volunteer, those volunteers can live up to 50% longer than folks that don't volunteer. This is amazing, okay? Research shows something remarkable beyond that. It also shows that these volunteers, they're happier, they're healthier, right? It also shows that their mental health, they are less likely to be depressed or to have anxiety. So volunteering can be linked to a greater life expectancy, to a more fulfilled life. Volunteering can do so many things for our body. And here's the cool thing. It can be something as short as 1 hour a week. Studies show, you know that same hour that each of us spends scrolling and scrolling to watch Netflix or to find some story, that same hour can give you years of your life back. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody signs up to volunteer thinking, I'm doing this for my lifespan. I want to live a longer life. But guess what? Your body is watching. Your body is taking the benefit of that. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to live a healthier, happier life? Volunteers, you know what happens to us? We build community. We build new friendships. And we realize that finally, we matter. Okay? We totally matter. All right? A dear friend of mine, who I admire so much, who's 84 years old and recently launched a project called Kick Butt Ageless Living. Okay? I brought this with me because I didn't want to misquote her. She says, there comes a moment in life when the next calling arrives. Not as an idea, but as a quiet knowing, something you feel in here, right? The realization that the story isn't over, that we are being invited into something more expansive and purposeful. So I want to invite all of you to reframe one question, okay? I want to invite you to ask yourselves, not what do I want to do with my life? That's not the question. The question is, how can I be of service? Who needs what I have? Believe me, all of us have something to offer, right? Time, that's a big one. I mean, if you're here and you have time, people need that. Your expertise, your wisdom, your presence, we all have it. We sometimes feel that being needed is a burden, okay? No, being needed is a gift. If you're being needed by someone, anybody, any project, you have a gift to offer back to them. So, wherever you are, whatever stage of life you're in, I want to invite you to ask yourselves that very question. What do I have that someone else can use, that can impact someone else's life? Because the moment you answer that question, purpose doesn't need to be searched for. It doesn't need to be found. It has already been created. I ask you, go find your passion. Go volunteer. Go make a difference. Because as of today, you are all different. And this is your new beginning. Thank you.